Hey everyone, it's Dr. Nelson. So hey, just a couple of quick things as I'm reading over some of the rough drafts that are coming in. Probably a lot of you haven't had a lot of experience yet with the Turnitin software, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So when you submit a paper through the Dropbox here at St. Joe's, what's going to happen is it automatically runs through what's called Turnitin, and Turnitin is a plagiarism software. And what it does is it takes that Word document and it throws it on the internet. It throws it against all kinds of databases, CINAHL, EBSCOhost, basically everywhere that we house academic journals. What it's looking for is same text. So if you pull something off the net word for word or from a journal article word for word, it's going to highlight it, okay? So there is a couple of flaws with the software. A lot of times it'll catch, it'll also compare papers to papers. So papers you've submitted in other courses, papers that other students have submitted in other courses, and it runs it through. So for instance, a lot of times your titles will flag as plagiarized because in prior courses, we've had the same paper submitted, or your colleagues, your peers are actually, doing the same thing. They're uploading a paper. So those types of things are often highlighted. Sometimes your reference page, because if people use references the same, they're going to be on the reference page highlighted. What I want you to understand is that Turnitin is a software that's meant not only for instructors as myself to look for plagiarism, but it's also a tool for you. So if you want, I always encourage students to upload their papers early, okay? You can upload multiple drafts, okay, up until the due date. I will grade your last submission, and on the subject or in your little notes there, you can simply write to me, hey, Dr. Nelson, this is my final copy, or grade this one. And that's the one I'll grade. But what Turnitin does is when it runs your paper, it will give you a percentage of matched text. So out of a whole 100%, how much of the paper is actually, word for word from somewhere else. I will tell you that every professor, every faculty member has their own threshold of what's considered plagiarism and what's not. Anything above 15, 20% kind of flags me as, wow, I'm going to take an extra big look at this because there's probably a lot of stuff copied word for word. And so that kind of gets my attention. So if you submit your paper, it's above 15, 20%, take a look at it. What specifically I go in and look for, though, is matched text. So paraphrasing makes much stronger writing than direct quotes. A good general rule of thumb paper within graduate school is no more than one each. And even then, that's pushing it because, again, I don't want to know what the article said word for word because I can look at the article myself. Paraphrasing, putting something into your own words makes for much stronger writing. And when you synthesize the article, when you synthesize what the other article or the author was talking about, that makes me know that you understand what you're taking from the article, putting it into your own words, and then applying it to whatever you're talking about on the rubric or the content. Again, paraphrasing, much, much stronger. The only reason you're using a direct quote is if you really can't paraphrase it. If it's hard, if it's a number, if it's a piece of data, then okay, yes, let's use a quote. But again, even if you're paraphrasing, okay, remember 3 words together is matched text. So you're copying from an author. So if you're taking that general overall theme and you're copying and pasting it, not a good idea. So anytime I article in front of them or they have it pulled up online, it's so easy for you to just copy and paste. Don't do it. Literally, if you have to, a good rule of thumb, a practice is to print the article out. I know people are always about, saving trees, but it's been a good habit of mine to print the article, to read it, kind of think about it, put it into my own words, and then start typing, because you're going to get in trouble if you have it electronically and you start grabbing it and copying and pasting it. The same thing for sources, right? It's so easy just to grab it and throw it in your paper. But if you don't direct quote it, you're going to get in trouble for plagiarism. And if you paraphrase it, but you still have 3 or 4 words clumped together from the original source, it's paraphrasing. We call that patchwork paraphrasing. Again, take it, put it into your own words, okay? So again, the Turnitin software is not just for faculty. It's for you as a student to really get in there and check your work. I'm not going to penalize you if you get in there and throw your paper in and it hits at 60%. As long as you get in there and correct it and resubmit it before the due date, I'm okay with that. I want to see that you're using that tool, okay, to your advantage. That's why you're paying for tuition. That's why you're paying for the software. I want you to use it, okay? So if you catch yourself plagiarizing, good for you. You're taking initiative. I know some of you, this is the first time writing a major paper. So I want you to feel comfortable that what you're submitting is quality material and it's your own, okay? So again, I'm looking, looking through rough drafts until the end of the week on these technology papers. A lot of them are looking great. Make sure you're following the rubric, okay? So make sure you're looking at the rubric because that's the biggest thing. People are missing key things just because they're not following the rubric. Particularly with the technology paper on the lifelong learning section. So the last section of that paper, that should be the largest part of your paper, connecting what you found as far as the history of the technology, the lit review, and then how are we going to use it? Why or how can providers use it? How can patients use it to, instill themselves with the education to improve patient outcomes, to improve performance, whatever it is. What's the lifelong learning take home? Okay. So I hope everyone's doing great. Everyone's doing fantastic. I know everyone, quiz 4 is really throwing people for a loop and I get it, but believe me, I'm going through looking at the analytics. I'm going to throw out some questions. Don't worry. Okay. Otherwise, everyone's doing great. Discussion boards are super robust and I'm really proud of that. You're coming into the home stretch here with these final 2 papers. Congratulations. I'm very proud of each and every one of you. So again, any questions, shoot me an email, rough drafts. I'm happy to look at. And again, get them there, throw those papers on that Dropbox and start looking at that Turnitin. Okay. Thanks guys. Bye-bye.